Well, along came Spaceship One, and this was such a big leap at scale that I got back into it, and I don't think, certainly anybody on the outside and a lot of people within scale didn't really think we could pull that off. And you know, I didn't, but I didn't tell anybody. I said, oh yeah, I know this will work. And I kept saying that, and most of the company says, well gee, if Burt thinks it'll work, maybe it'll work. And I go home and thinking, God, I hope this thing works. So, at any rate, I had not designed the airplane since Spaceship One. You know, Scale has done a bunch of airplanes since then. I helped with a concept. You know, I gave a sketch of the White Knight 2 to Bob, and he built an airplane that didn't look anything like my sketch. So, you know, it's all his, not mine. But anyway, back in November, actually October, I got an idea of a new type of airplane. I got really excited about it, and I talked my boss. Actually, I turned over the reins of management when I had the heart surgery to Doug Shane. So I've been just kind of a technical guy for the last 3 or 4 years, and not doing the management kind of stuff like I did for all the years. And believe me, that stuff's not as much fun as flight tests or building stuff. But anyway, I came up with an idea, and I said, listen, I'm going to do one more airplane. So since mid-November, I and a small team of guys have been working very long hours, and we're doing one more Burt Rutan design before I retire, and I'm going to retire in April. So I will be leaving the Antelope Valley after 46 years, and I recommend to you guys, this is a neat place to live, but don't stay any more than 44 years. But anyway, I'm gonna get to do one more. So I can't tell you anything about it. We don't talk about things until they're out flying, but you'll see it probably if it doesn't crash and we haul it quickly back into the hangar. But anyway, I've been having a lot of fun, working really hard, and getting down in the shop and building things with my hands. And I've had a lot of health problems, really serious stuff. But getting back into the shop and building stuff, and laying up fiberglass and breathing carbon fiber and lifting stuff and drilling holes, boy, I tell you, I feel a lot better than I have when I've been kind of almost like an invalid after the heart surgery. So, having a bunch of fun. I'm going to tell, I'll tell you, I was going to kind of take this apart and tell you what's wrong with it, but I'm not going to do that because you guys already know all that, right? For example, I can't believe if you got to ship this out Tuesday that you took today off. You're not? Okay, I'll tell you, as soon as I get done talking, I'm going to go back to work, and if you guys got to ship this out Tuesday, you better go back to work. Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to tell just a little bit of story that you may not be familiar with about what I've done personally in the Antelope Valley, just to kind of give you a taste of what can be done if you set your goals really high, and what should be done to put a team together and have the passion to work hard and do cool things like we've done at Scale. I'm going to tell just a little bit of background, then I'll open it up to questions and answers and see how that goes. I came to Lancaster right out of college, and we had a good war going on. And, a lot of you guys maybe think, no, it's not a good war, but it was an excellent war. It's called Vietnam. And the reason I said it's an excellent war is during the Vietnam War, starting from about 63 to about 75, an 11-year time period, America developed new fighters, new cargo airplanes, new helicopters, every category of airplanes. We had brand new airplanes that had never flown out in flight test in Edwards Air Force Base. And instead of testing software and different little gadgets, we were testing new airplanes, new helicopters. My first job was VSTOL, every airplane that could hover. I was on the tri-service test team for all the vertical takeoff and landing stuff. So we had 7 different hovering airplanes to test. Anyway, just a wonderful time, and everybody worked really hard, and we were doing important things to save the Army at the siege of Kazan, and we were doing, you know, it was all no internet, and, excuse me. We would do teletype, which is kind of a sort of a version of texting, and that's how we supported the war. We'd do some flight tests, and then we sent out a teletype deal, and the guys in Vietnam could get that, and then they could do something different with their aerial delivery or their weapons and so on. Anyway, I did that for about 7 years, and then I thought, you know, I'm going to take a year off just to have some fun, because I was building a home-built airplane, and there was somebody in Kansas that was building home-built airplanes, and he wanted me to come work for him. So I told him, oh yeah, that'd be a good career for me. Although inside I knew I wasn't going to stay more than a year. Just kind of try it out. Hey, it'd be kind of neat to work in what you do for your hobby. My hobby, I come home, I build my very big, and so I build a home-built airplane. So I took off, and it was so much fun. And I worked there for 2 years. And then I scampered about the time I knew he was going to go bankrupt. and decided to come back and be an entrepreneur and try to make a business in the business that he worked in. And that is selling plans and kits and so on for home-built airplanes. So I had a family of 4. I got a little air coupe, and I started at the Mexican border, and I landed at every airport, working my way north until I could find a place that I could afford. I needed a house for my family. I needed a hangar for my very big one. I needed a shop to build the very easy. And you know, that's a lot of stuff. And 2 of those things had to be on an airport. And I was really getting depressed. I said, hey, I can't do that. I only got 15,000 bucks that my dad loaned me to get my business started. That's it. And I was selling plans for $27. And, you know, anyway, what happened, as soon as I got to Mojave, everything was real cheap. I leased a big old wooden building. There were no metal buildings then, just tumbleweeds and old wooden buildings. I leased one of them. I think it was like 10 cents a square foot per month. And I only needed half of it, so I leased the other half for 20 cents a square foot. So I was a slumlord, and I had a shop, and I could park my airplane in a hangar for $12 a month, and I bought a brand new home that had never been lived in. It had sit around for a year with a roof leak, but it was a new home in in Mojave, and I bought it for $27,000. So that's how I got my start in Mojave. That's why I was in Mojave, and that's why Scaled is still there, because it was the cheapest place that I could find so that I could survive as a startup. Tell you what, if I tell more of my autobiography, this will take way too long. I'm going to open up to questions, and I'll take them both from you guys first. And if you're real shy, we'll go out there and we might get some, you really ought to join in. Any questions?